Thank you, Chairman. Welcome to our witnesses this morning. And we know you're all very busy people and that you have other things to do, and as we have ourselves, but you're very welcome. Minister, a question. Why do you think at this stage there is opposition to the proposal, which is building and growing? Is there a particular reason that you can actually put your finger on, or that anybody on that side of the table can put their finger on at this stage?
Thanks, Deputy. Yes. I believe that this ultimately comes down to a deep-seated mistrust of institutional Ireland based on an appalling track record in our country when it comes to the church and women's reproductive health. I think ultimately that's what this boils down to. And I understand that. And I think it is incumbent upon, it has therefore been incumbent upon 4 Ministers for Health, James Riley, Leo Varadkar, Simon Harris and myself, and 2 governments, to make sure that those concerns are addressed absolutely, and that the new hospital that we set up provides all of the guarantees, and not only provides all of the services that are needed, but gives space to expand the provision of those services and many other women's healthcare services in maternity, obstetrics, fertility, gynecology, and many other areas. And if I may, Deputy, I might ask, could we get a response to the same question, because it goes to the heart of everything we're doing here, maybe from some of the clinicians who are working, providing the services today.
Yes. Yes. Who wants to go? Dr. O'Mahony.
Yeah, thank you. And just to thank everyone here for the opportunity for us to come and to tell our stories and to come and outline why this hospital is so important. So just to express thanks. But I totally agree with the Minister. I think that Ireland has been through a lot. And when we look back at the history, particularly of women's health and that interplay between church and state, it's been really, really difficult for women. It's had a profound impact on women's health, indeed, and on women's lives. We're now moving forward. We're moving into a different Ireland, and we've really seen such huge advances in the last 10 years. It was, I think, a real moment for me during the Repeal the 8th campaign, when we were able to, I remember going out in 2013, I came to a health committee just like this, and I was pretty much a lone voice, not as lonely as all of the women who'd gone to Europe to fight their cases on their own. By 2018, we had all come together and we had a movement, and we were able to talk and express what happened to women. But that was a pivotal point, I think, in our history in terms of moving forward and moving forward in women's health. With this project, we're moving forward again. We're saying goodbye to the church completely. There is no religious ethos pertaining in St. Vincent's Hospital. There's a complete separation. And we're moving forward and we're leaving that behind. But we're moving forward in a different way. The vision for this hospital is really a vision of enormous possibility for what we can give to women in this country. It's not just about the old facilities in Holles Street, the wards where women are crowded into tiny wards, the long 14-bed wards, not having ICU, not having HDU, our babies crammed into units where their parents can't be with them, no toilets, lack of showers. I know we've heard a lot about this. The new facility is going to be magnificent. We'll have a facility where babies, our tiniest citizens in the state, babies as small as 23 weeks, as young as that, weighing 500 grams, will be in a magnificent, dedicated preterm birth centre, and their parents can stay with them, be involved in their care, because it's a really scary place, a neonatal intensive care. And actually, we know that has much better outcomes for babies. We'll have proper labour rooms, and actually we give expression to the maternity strategy in terms of having all that choice for women in terms of the midwifery-led birthing units, the birthing pools, the beautiful rooms. Women have dignified single-room accommodation across the whole building. We have proper operating theatres, and the whole key here is that those operating theatres link into St. Vincent's Hospital, the very place we need them to, and into their intensive care. The intensive care and the HDU that we don't have at the moment. But it's much more than that. And I think the bit that maybe we have missed is what is on the campus of also St. Vincent's Hospital. Women have been hearing a lot, and they've been so worried that the services available to them will be restricted. It's actually quite the opposite. We will be hugely increasing their services. When you look at the Vincent's campus, 150,000 inpatient and day patient cases are held there every day. There's 50 clinical specialties and over 200 consultants and 5,000 staff delivering a whole gamut of healthcare services which will be available for women. St Vincent's already cares for women. 500 women with breast cancer every year are treated in St Vincent's.
Have you any worries about any possible religious influence on the procedures that may or may not take place in the hospital?
Absolutely not, for two main series of reasons. One is the series of protections that are built into the legal framework that has arisen out of Mulvey. This is a series of legal frameworks, a series of documents that creates layer and layer and layer and layer of protection. It is a separate company. It's a separate legal entity, the NMH DAC, and that's very important. And if in the course of our conversation, I'd really like an opportunity to go through all of those layers in detail that give us those protections. In parallel, St Vincent's Hospital is now a secular organisation. There is no link to the church. That is over, that is gone. When the share transfer completed, that was the end of any association with the religious system of charity, any association with religion. We are now a secular organisation, and the constitutions of Vincent's, the holding company that holds the shares, and the operating company, if you like, St Vincent's Healthcare Group, those constitutions are published in full on the website, and there is no vehicle or mechanism through which any religious ethos, any Catholic ethos can be imposed, and that's terribly important.
Would you agree?
Bernard, Professor Higgins.
Yes, Professor Higgins, yeah.
One of the practical points of do we have any concerns is that we've already provided that care. And if we particularly look at termination and pregnancy care, the vast majority of who attend us are fit and healthy and well. There's a significant proportion that have medical conditions where I then have to talk to the clinicians in Vincent's, and they give that advice without any issue and do it appropriately and kindly and respectfully. And there have been women who have required termination of pregnancy care on the physical campus of Vincent's without any issue from the clinicians, any issue from the management staff, any issue from administrative staff. And I have provided that.
Professor Higgins, you wouldn't mind taking off the mask?
Oh,
it's just
apologies,
for
thank you.
The broadcast.
I'm so used to wearing a mask all the time, I've forgotten how to do it. So I have provided that care. So that's why I'm confident we can do it.
Okay. Would you agree that the Savita Halappanavar case was a benchmark in terms of the need to treat women in an urgent manner?
We learned so much from Savita Halappanavar, the poor woman. She left a legacy where we have learned more about sepsis. We've changed the law twice based on her, both in protection of life and termination of pregnancy. And that is something that we have to honour her life by actually continuing this practice.
Thank you. Has anybody on that side of the chamber this morning any concerns about the title, the agreement entered into, the board, the number of directors, and the influence on the hospital as proposed? Anybody?
My words, no.
No.
So you can give, honestly give your assurance that you're happy with it, that it will work, and it will work soon, and that as a result of that women like Savita will have their care and attention from the word go.
We have been involved in this very deeply from the start. We have been interested ourselves, of course, because we want to provide the care. So we've had to satisfy ourselves. And we do appreciate that, therefore, people want to ask questions and they're concerned and they're worried. And we are satisfied. And we hope with this debate that everybody else in the country will be satisfied as well and realise this is the best thing. This is the greatest investment in women's health that the country has ever done. It is a massive step forward, as Dr. Mahoney says. It's a massive step forward for midwifery, nursing, for medicine, to provide care to women, to pregnant people and to neonates. We totally support this, Deputy.
Chairman, I'm going to finish up. The question is, there seems to be confusion about the cost. Depending on who you talk with, it may be a cost of €10 per annum for X number of years, or 800,000 or 600,000 or whatever the case may be. Could you shed some light on where the conflicting information is coming there? And from a legal point of view, can you tell us tell the committee this morning that, you know, it's one or the other. Which is it?
A very short answer, and then ask John Donoghue, who's been involved on the legal side, to give a more detailed answer. The short answer is it's €10 a year for the next 300 years. There are conditions on that. The conditions essentially are that we, the state, remain as the tenant running healthcare services there. Now, by agreement, that can be changed. But essentially, once we are running our hospital on the site, that's that. There is a condition that we don't look to acquire freehold ownership of the site, which is, you know, we're entering into an agreement on a leasehold ownership basis. So essentially, this is securing that in time to come, this will still be a maternity hospital providing great care. I might ask John to come in and add to that.
Yes, so there is a clause in the lease which, as the Minister has said, provides that there is a commercial rent which will be what's called abated to €10 per annum as long as the HSE complies with certain conditions. And that's clearly set out in clause 4 of the lease, and those conditions are very clear, and those conditions relate to the state continuing to provide public healthcare facilities from that building into the future and for the term of 299 years. And that, I suppose, protects both parties. It protects St Vincent's Hospital Group, who own the freehold interest in the site, to ensure that the state doesn't try and change the use of the facility to something else. You know, we have a facility here that will be state-of-the-art, but in certainly less than 299 years, it will need to be redeveloped, replaced, refurbished. So, and there's no guarantee that it will be required as a public hospital facility in the future. So there is no reason for the state to have what's called a freehold interest, or an interest into infinity on that site. And I suppose there are other protections in that document to ensure that this facility, once constructed, which the state or through the HSE has full rights to do, is used for 299 years for public health care.
Thank you. I'll come back in again later.